This is QTV News broadcasting from the Gambia, and I am Marietu Sidibe. Our top stories. Basiru Kamara and EMCC were killed at Yundum Barracks. Witness alleges. QTV and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education have signed a memorandum of understanding. Banjul Barra Ferry's maintenance completed. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. Lieutenant Colonel Babukar Sanyang Thursday accused Brigadier General Alaji Martin of the Gambia Armed Forces of coordinating and participating in his alleged torture while he was in detention at Mile 2 prison in 1995. He made this allegation while continuing his testimony at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commissions on the events of November 11, 1994, the arrest and execution of Sergeant Fafanyang and others. QTV's Ansumana Esonyasi tells us more.
Continuing his testimony, Lieutenant Colonel Babukar Sanyang of the Gambia Armed Forces Thursday reappeared before commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission to give his account of the events of November 10 and 11, 1994, his alleged subsequent arrest and victimization. The witness in his testimony accused he received 3 separate calls on the morning of November 11, 1994, urging him to leave the barracks as his name was included in a list reportedly bearing the names of officers accused of plotting to overthrow the APRC Council. As a result, the witness said he left Union Barracks with Sergeant Major Eme Jallo, now Military Intelligence Director. He disclosed that they went to his family house in Lamen but returned to the barracks an hour later. Upon arrival, he accused Lance Corporal Manlafikor of halting them at gunpoint and leading them to the guard room where they were allegedly detained with a host of other officers, including then Commanding Officer Captain Marong. While he was released an hour later, the witness alleged that Basiru Kamara and EMCC were gruesomely executed at Yundum Barracks. While he was released an hour later, the witness alleged that Basiru Kamara and EMCC were gruesomely executed at Yundum Barracks by council members and their outlays.
So I went out to see, because I have to go and then see what happened, because shots were fired. There were no firing happening. So obviously, within a blink of an eye, shots were fired. Obviously, I would go and then see what happened. So this is what prompted me to go and then see. So when I went, it was another unfortunate situation. I mean, these guys were already gone down.
What did you see? What was the condition of their body?
Lifeless bodies.
Did you see the point of impact?
Cisse, I'll tell you the truth. Cisse, I think the shot was, aimed at on his head, because you can see this part was completely open.
Further testifying, the witness made disturbing revelations alleging that Lamin Koli and John C. Mendy, who have both previously appeared before the commission, took part in the burial of officers who were summarily executed on November 11, 1994. On his alleged victimization, the witness further made disturbing revelations as he accused the current IG of the Gambia Armed Forces, Brigadier General Alaji Martin, of coordinating and participating in his torture while he was unlawfully detained at Mile 2 prisons.
He now gave instructions for his men. He said, look, handle him. So this handle him, all of a sudden I saw a plastic bag being put on my head and then tied it.
Put the plastic bag over
The guy behind me.
Do you know who he was?
No. But 2 guys that I in fact confirmed, that is Senghor, Pa Senghor and Ndur. Because Pa Senghor was on my left.
Give us their full names and ranks, please.
Sorry, we know him as Pa Senghor. And this Ndur.
Where is he now?
Ndur is late.
What about Pa Senghor?
Pa Senghor is alive, sorry.
Where is he now?
I don't know. He's working with either SIS or maybe drug squad. I don't know.
Is he with the SIS?
Yes, I think so. He asked them to handle me. I said, what? They put that plastic bag on my face, on my head, and then just tied it. Started beating me. At my back, wherever. Just started beating me. Talk. you know,
Were they using their hands or any particular instrument?
body legs, and even the buttstock. So, you know, you can feel, you can exhale, but you cannot inhale.
While expressing dismay over his ordeal at the hands of his alleged torturers, the witness alleged he sustained serious injuries, and since his release he has undergone numerous medical diagnoses in the Gambia, Turkey and the United States, yet he has not received any treatment as he does not have the financial muscle to do so. Ansumana Sonyasi for QTV News.
A memorandum of understanding was on Thursday signed between the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and QTV and Q Radio to broadcast the ministry's weekly activities. The ceremony was held at the ministry's headquarters in Banjul. The objective, according to the ministry, is to be using QTV to help share information with the public on the activities of the ministry on education programs nationwide. Babukar C. reports.
After signing a $35 million education sector support program funding last month with the World Bank, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on Thursday penned an agreement with QTV and Q Radio to be airing educational programs weekly on the television and radio. The program aims to improve the quality and standards of education by airing the ministry's programs and allowing the citizenry to participate. Lasana Tunkara, head of programs at QTV, said this is not the first partnership between the two institutions and assured the Ministry of the Television's readiness to partner with MOPSI to improve the country's education sector.
Partnering with MOPSI is not a new thing. It's not today. We've been there for a long time partnering. If we can recall, we had the Q Spell It program, which was our nationwide spelling bee. I think it was over $10 million worth that we spent on that. And we always consider MOPSI our partners. So when QTV, Q Radio co-broadcasting, it's not a new thing to us. And so we highly welcome it. We welcome the extension of the partnership, and we look forward to doing more in the future. Having the MOPSI programs on our television and our radio is very important to us because, as you will be aware, one of the main reasons for QTV is to show to the Gambia and the world a positive image of the country, of the Gambia. And we know the hard work MOPSI does. All ministries are important, but MOPSI is perhaps one of our most important ministries because this ministry is the one that helps mold our children's knowledge and guides them on for the future. So having your content on our airwaves is very important to us, and we look forward to sharing that content and also working with you as far as developing it. We have a lot of young people in general watching our channel, listening to our radio, and part of our reason for being is to educate. And I know if you recall back in the day when you used to listen to broadcasters, the way they spoke, the way we learnt English in this country, let's say, was from broadcasting. They spoke very good English stuff. So that's one of the reasons why, like if you watch our news, we pay close attention how words are said, how things are put across. It's very important to us, and that's part of fulfilling our social responsibility working with MOPSI is to make sure that that is out there to help push the education part. It's not just about singing and dancing, it's about learning. So that's a big thing for us at QTV and Q Radio. And also I want to assure DPS and the ministry, that when we say this is your time for broadcast, it's a promise. It's a promise to you, our partner, and it's a promise to the audience watching. So we will do everything possible to make sure that the times that we said this program is coming on, it will come on. The rest is in the hands of God because things can happen. But all things being correct, we will ensure that 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, QTV will be airing MOPSI program, and 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on a Friday, we'll be there on Q Radio. I just wanted to make that sure.
For his part, Deputy Permanent Secretary Adama Jimba Job said the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is doing a lot to improve the standard of education in the country, which many did not notice, but partnering with QTV to broadcast and disseminate their programs to the public would go a long way towards sensitizing the public on their activities and efforts in raising standards.
Over the years, one of our challenges as a sector was we're doing so many good things that the world over people are coming from different parts of the world to learn from us. But inside our country, people don't know. And there are times when people are criticizing us, putting us under the guillotine, is all because of ignorance. But if they are aware of what we are doing, I think so many things are said or done against MOPSI and the personnel, it could have been reduced drastically. it may not be completely eliminated because we are on the limelight in the sense that we are the people or the sector that is responsible for developing this country, in the sense that the human resource base of this country, the children of this country are to be molded by us and passed on to the tertiary and high institutions. That is why we are very, very critical as far as the Gambian population is concerned. But unless and until you know where we were, where are we, and where we are heading to, you wouldn't know what we are doing as a sector. And that is why we thought of not only developing a communication strategy or having a communication unit within the sector, but also we partner with the private sector in helping us to disseminate some of the information, some of the work we are doing, some of the achievements we have done over the years, so that the Gambian population will know exactly what we are doing as a sector. Because if people don't know, definitely they have all the right to question, to query, to sometimes become very unfriendly towards the ministry. So QTV, as a partner, I don't have doubt. I am very much convinced. Looking at the caliber of people I know who are working with the group, I am sure they can do this work the way we want it. We once again want to thank you very much for having trust and confidence in MOPSI to come and partner with us, but also for accepting, despite all the hurdles we have over these few months, that at the end of the day, it's a part of your corporate social responsibility to support the social sector. One of it is education.
The programs, if started, would be airing every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on QTV and on Fridays from 6 to 7 p.m. on Q Radio. Babukar C, QTV News.
The ferry crossing in Banjul Bara is one of the main crossing points in the Gambia. Previously, the ferry lander was going under some maintenance, which makes crossing difficult for people with goods and vehicles. This prompted many passengers to use the local boats called Gal. Ibrahim Balde reports.
During this time, businesses and other commercial activities were put to a halt. In an interview with Abdullah Gai, Deputy Managing Director of Ferries, as to what was the problem and what are the steps taken to address the challenge.
On the 18th of March and on the 19th of March, they were grounded because we were carrying out civil works, major repairs at the Bara lander. The lander is like the bridge that interfaces with the ferry. We started this work some time ago, and the first phase was done. And as we continue to render services, it was observed that it was, necessary to do the second phase to make the lander much safer for use by heavy vehicles. Because safety is paramount in our work, we decided to sensitize our esteemed customers through the radio media, through the television media, the newspapers. These were circulated in the papers, public notices, so that our esteemed customers can plan themselves. It was stated that, there will be ferry service until 9 a.m. on Monday the 18th, and it will cease for 2 days. And that was exactly, we had a full team, mobilize everything because it involves structural changes, some, heavy materials, So we had the two teams that were working, one team was working day, the other was working night. So for almost 48 hours, the works were done, and that service now is restored.
Mr. Guy also highlighted some of the challenges they face at the Ports Authority with passengers, challenging them to abide by the rules and regulations of the Ports Authority for easy crossing.
We have restricted areas. We have built departure halls, sitting areas. But people don't use these sitting areas. If you look at customers, sometimes they prefer to use the main gate. They sometimes stand just by the lander, which is unsafe. Vehicles disembarking from the ferry. Sometimes, these are vehicles, they can lose their brakes. anything can happen. But those areas, we have put notices there to say these are out of bounds. But still people go there. And sometimes, we experience accidents there. But it's better for people to stay in the departure hall. We have PA systems to announce arrivals of ferries. We have this PA system to inform passengers of any development.
The management of the Gambia Ports Authority is informing the public that the ferries are now fully operational, as they were reservicing the ferries to save lives and property, urging the passengers to exercise patience. Ibrahim Balde, QTV News.
Gambia's Higher Education Minister Badara Diouf has revealed, among other things, his ministry's readiness to build skill centers in CRR and URR North. He made the revelation during his appearance before deputies to respond to questions on Wednesday. Aliou Cisse was monitoring the session, and here is an excerpt.
Considering the fact that CRR is one of the biggest regions in the Gambia, is your ministry considering establishing other skill centers in the region?
Certainly, there are plans afoot to establish skill centers, but as I said, it is resource-driven if we have the resources. And we are acutely aware that CRR North and URR North are very deprived regions. And those areas will be our #1 priority as we get the resources. Thank you.
Would the Honourable Minister consider his ministry's intervention in terms of completing the Ndemban Multipurpose Skills Center?
The reason why I was not here yesterday was because I was in Ndemban with the team and with some donors. So Ndemban is on our radar.
Would your ministry consider public-private partnership in the creation of these skill centers across the country?
When it comes to skill centers, we can consider it's a three-pronged approach. There could be a private-public partnership, there could be a public partnership exclusively owned by government, and it could be privately owned by an enterprise. So those things are there.
Could the Honourable Speaker tell this August Assembly what plans are afoot in reviving the GTTI in Mansakonko?
Actually, I would invite the Honourable Member, who is also the Chairman of the Education Subcommittee, to visit Mansakonko and see the rehabilitation works that are being done by GIZ. That's the Germans, and they're putting in almost over €1 million in that area. And I was there to see, the progress that is being made. Thank you.
Gambians have now become au fait with the work of Rotary and how it complements efforts. These remarks were made by Minyan Job, the Assistant Governor, Rotary Club District 9101, in an interview with QTV at the 6th Assembly District 9101 conference held in the Gambia.
I will go straight away and tell you, before this conference, Gambia had 3 clubs. Since Gambia took the district, there's been an additional of 2 new clubs in the Gambia. Rotary Club of Bijilo, and a couple of weeks ago, Rotary Club of Kotu. What it did, it created awareness. People know about the work of Rotary, especially how we complement the efforts of government in country by developing our communities, by going to these communities and identifying the challenges they face, and we try to ameliorate them. People now are interested and know the work of Rotary, and now are craving to join Rotary clubs in the Gambia.
The Scorpions of the Gambia have arrived in Algeria ahead of their last round Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers match against the Desert Foxes on Friday. A win for the Scorpions and a draw between Benin and Togo would qualify them for their maiden African Cup of Nations finals. Our sports reporter Momodu Gajaga can bring us some more updates.
Since 2008, this is the first time Gambia are this close to qualification in Africa's showpiece football event. They drew 1-1 against Senegal in Dakar in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier and joint World Cup qualifier, and this was the last time they almost made it through. Algeria are already through with 10 points and would only be playing for pride, as well as to consolidate their grip on top spot. For the Gambia, it is a must-win encounter and hope that Benin draw against Togo to have any chance of going through. When the two sides met in September in 2018, it ended in a 1-1 draw. Buneja put the visitors in front just 2 minutes into the second half, only for Hassan Cisse to equalize 2 minutes later. Scorpions coach Tom Samphiers remained optimistic for his team's chances, but his fate does not entirely lie in his hands.
For that. This is the first time in history of Gambian football that the national team, the senior national team, can qualify on the last match day for a major tournament. In the past, Gambia was once close by but had to play still playoffs. This is the first time that one game will decide. So it's a game with a lot of tension, with a lot of hope, a lot of expectations, but it will be also a very difficult game. We are in the back of the start grid. If you look to car racing, we have to pass first 2 opponents to be in that second spot to qualify, so it won't be easy. We are going with the ambition to do all we can to make history, but to make history we have to write twice history. It's exactly 36 years ago that Gambia won their last game away from home in a qualification, competitive match. 1983, March 1983, Gambia won in Mauritania in a qualification round, and that's the last away victory for Gambian football and even the only away victory for Gambian football in history. So we need to go to Algeria to win for the first time in 36 years. And then, let me also, because there's some confusion, and I don't blame you because it's quite difficult, we have to count on a draw between Togo and Benin. In any other case, we are not qualified. So we need to win 0-1, 1-2, doesn't matter the result, we need to win if we want to be qualified. And in that case, if we still want to be qualified, Togo of Benin-Togo has to end in a draw. The moment Benin wins from Togo, even if we win 10-0, we are out.
Algeria will host the Gambia on Friday. The Desert Foxes are on top in Group D with 10 points. Benin second with 7 points, while Togo and the Gambia occupy the 2 bottom places on 5 points each. But Togo edge on head-to-head. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin, a recap of our main stories. Lieutenant Colonel Babukar Sanyang Thursday accused Brigadier General Alaji Martin of the Gambia Armed Forces of coordinating and participating in his alleged torture while he was in detention at Maltu prison in 1995. He made this allegation while continuing his testimony at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission on the event of November 11, 1994, the arrest and execution of Sergeant Fafanyang and others. A memorandum of understanding was on Thursday signed between the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and QTV and Q Radio to broadcast the ministry's weekly activities. The ceremony was held at the ministry's headquarters in Banjul. The objective, according to the ministry, is to be using QTV to help share information with the public on the activities of the ministry on education programs nationwide. The ferry crossing in Banjul Bara is one of the main crossing points in the Gambia. Previously, the ferry lander was going under some maintenance, which makes crossing difficult for people with goods and vehicle. This prompted many passengers to use the local boats called Gal. That's it for this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.